Hi, I'm Niklas and this is the Neckbolt Dev blog. Today I'm going to talk about combat and the various monsters which the elephant can fight.
So here's a curious habit I have when designing games. Instead of trying to define what a game is, I often start by staking out what a game isn't. So I end up with statements like turn-based RPG combat but without stats, or multiplayer RTS but with no win criteria. And we've already seen how the elephant game is a Zelda-like adventure but with no items or inventory. Another thing the elephant game will not have is complex and engaging combat. I want to devote my energy to the puzzle gameplay, which is like the soul of the game. One wonders, if I have already decided that the combat will not be very good, why even have it in the game in the first place? Here's the reason. This is after all a story of a hero, and a hero needs an antagonist. All the characters you meet can wax enthusiastic about how much danger the world is in, but if the player never meets the threat directly, the whole sense of danger is just so much empty air. Now, the true threat of this game is arguably colonial imperialism, but that is way too abstract and hard to grasp. You'll also need a threat that can personally smack you in the face. This brings us to the Robgoblins. They are a sort of humanoid rat people, which is based on the idea that big huge elephants are afraid of tiny little mice and rats. I've heard that from an elephant's perspective it's difficult to tell the difference between a small rat and a dangerous snake. And indeed the other major enemy type of the game are snakes. I'm also planning a so-called Blightborn, which is a kind of soulless zombie creature. Maybe I'll talk more about them in a future episode. The combat itself, as I said, is not very elaborate. The elephant can headbutt enemies and this will deal damage to them. Enemies will hit you back and they will telegraph their attacks for a short while before they hit. All enemy types share the same behavior, but their stats can be varied, so monsters might telegraph longer or shorter. And that's really it at the moment. After some testing, I even made it so that the elephant will automatically align himself towards the closest enemy, so if you just keep spamming the attack button, the game will take care of aiming all by itself. I am, however, interested in continuing to develop the enemy behavior further. I would like to add some sort of Pac-Man system where not all enemies will try and attack you all the time. In Pac-Man, the different ghosts actually have different behaviors, and only one of the ghosts actually tries to hunt them down and kill you directly. I am playing through Ocarina of Time again, and I noticed a thing that I didn't know before. It struck me that if you face several enemies at once and then you target lock on only one of them, that enemy will attack you and all the others will sort of stay back and keep to the background until you, the player, switch target. I haven't been able to fact check this, so I don't know if actually this is the case, but even if it isn't, that is a pretty fascinating system. And the elephant game has a top-down camera, so I can't really use a targeting system like that, but games like Assassin's Creed and Arkham Asylum also have systems that keeps enemies from attacking you all at once, but more like one at a time. So what do you guys think? How important is combat for a game like this? That's all for today's episode, but stay tuned for next week when I will talk about something else. This whole project is funded via Patreon, and if you want to help out, it would be super cool if you could head over there and subscribe. Your contribution is what makes this game possible. You can also subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Twitter for quick updates. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.